Unity TV domin labaru akan al'amuran yau da kullum. Unity TV, murya cikin nazari.
Hello and welcome to News Hour on Unity TV. Today is Friday, 4th of August 2023 and it's equivalent to 17th of Muharram 1445 after Hijrah. The headlines. Federal government to implement no work, no pay for striking residents. NLC threatens strike if federal government fails to withdraw lawsuits. Avoid military hostilities in Niger. Atiku warns ECOWAS. And on the foreign scene, Trump pleads not guilty to election charges in latest arraignment. In sports, the Tigers overpower Rwanda, reach fourth successive Afro basket final. And those were the headlines. And for details and more of the stories, I am Rukayat Sani Ibrahim. The federal government has directed the chief medical directors and medical directors in the federal tertiary hospitals to implement the no work, no pay policy on the striking members of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. The federal government also directed the hospitals to maintain an attendance register for all resident doctors willing to work. The letter obtained by our correspondent on Thursday was written by the Federal Minister of Health and addressed to the CMDs and MDs of all federal teaching hospitals in the country. The letter, dated August 1, 2023, was titled Re-Incessant Strike Action by the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. Implementation of no work, no pay policy of the federal government was signed by the Director of Hospital Services, Dr. Andrew Noah. NAD embarked on an indefinite strike on July 26, 2023 to press home its demands. The strike followed the expiration of a 2-week ultimatum to the government to meet its demand. The Nigerian Labour Congress NLC yesterday threatened to embark on a nationwide indefinite strike from August 14 if at the close of work on Friday, August 11, the contempt charge against it by the federal government was not withdrawn. Recall that the Federal Ministry of Justice had gone to court on Wednesday to file a contempt charge against Labour and the NLC and Trade Union Congress TUC for embarking on strike. At its National Executive Council NEC meeting to review Wednesday's nationwide protest, NLC demanded immediate withdrawal of the contempt charge. This was made known in a communique issued at the end of the meeting signed by NLC President and General Secretary Joe Ajero and Emma Obuaja, respectively. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has cautioned the leadership of the Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS against the engagement of military to restore democratic order in Niger Republic. Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), in a statement signed by himself in Abuja on Thursday, said that the crisis in Niger required sustained diplomatic engagements. He said the military intervention in the Republic of Niger had created tension across the West African sub-region, a development that has caused international attention to that neighboring country to Nigeria. Abubakar said that the development was undoubtedly a challenging time for the West African region. He, however, said any actions taken towards the prompt resolution of the crisis in the Republic of Niger must prioritize democracy as the ultimate victor. The Nigerian Immigration Service NIS Controller in charge of the GBR Special Border Command Katsina State, Mustafa Sani, has warned Nigerians against traveling to the Niger Republic. This is due to the crisis in the Niger Republic following a coup d'etat in the country. The West African nation has been hit with sanctions in the wake of the development. He spoke on Thursday in a joint celebration with the Katsina State Command of the NIS to commemorate the service at 60. According to him, the service is deploying men to man the Katsina border to help curtail illegal movement from the Niger Republic. The United States Agency for International Development has warned Nigeria and other African countries to brace up for higher food prices, following recent developments that have temporarily halted Ukraine's food exports to African countries. USAID's Deputy Administrator for Policy and Programming, Isobel Coleman, said this on Thursday at a virtual press conference. According to her, Russia's decision to withdraw from the Black Sea Grain Initiative had already begun to trigger higher food prices around the world. She noted that the impact of these food price hikes will be more felt in developing countries that were import dependent and had conventionally relied on grain imports from Ukraine. The United Nations Children Fund UNICEF yesterday said no fewer than 122 persons have lost their lives to diphtheria outbreak in Nigeria. UNICEF representatives in Nigeria, Ms. Christian Muduate, in a statement by the UNICEF's Communications, Advocacy, Media and External Relations, Sophia Akau, expressed worry over the outbreak, which she said has affected children in 27 states of the country, putting the case fatality rate CFR at 8.7%. Manduat said as of July this year, 3,850 suspected cases were reported, with 1,387 confirmed as diphtheria. According to her, UNICEF is closely collaborating with the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NSCDC, the affected states and the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, to provide technical support to plan and operationalize response. All Progressives Congress APC National Chairman Abdullahi Ganduje has promised to reposition the party for growth and victory in future polls. He spoke in Abuja yesterday shortly after he was elected as the 6th chair of the 10-year-old party during the National Executive Committee NEC meeting. Also endorsed as the secretary is Senator Sarajuddin Ajibola Basiru. Basiri was the spokesman of the 9th Senate representing Osun West. Ganduje replaced Senator Abdullahi Adamu, while Basiru replaced Senator Iola Omisore. Both of them resigned last month. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the party leader who attended the meeting, enjoined the leaders to support his administration in its bid to fulfill his campaign promises. The defense headquarters has said troops deployed 4 internal operations across the country killed 36 terrorists, arrested 163 criminals, and rescued 140 civilian hostages in the last 2 weeks. This is just as 313 terrorists comprising 12 male adults, 138 female adults, and 162 of their children surrendered to troops at different locations within the theater of operation. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, made the disclosures on Thursday at the bi-weekly update on Armed Forces of Nigerian operations in the last 2 weeks. He reiterated that the military has no greater priority than to restore normalcy and put an end to security challenges across the country. He said during the weeks under review, the military killed 36 terrorists, arrested 137 gunmen, 3 gun runners, 2 kidnappers, 6 collaborators, 15 perpetrators of oil theft, and rescued 140 kidnapped hostages. And on the foreign scene, former U.S. President Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty in a Washington, D.C. court for conspiring to overturn his 2020 election defeat. During a short arraignment, he spoke softly to confirm his non-guilt plea, name and age, and he was not under the influence of any substance. He later told reporters the case was prosecution of a political opponent. It marks the former president's 3rd appearance in 4 months as a criminal defendant. Mr. Trump lost the 2020 election to his Democratic challenger, Joe Biden, but he refused to concede and mounted weeks of challenges across several U.S. states. He is currently the front-runner for the 2024 Republican White House nomination and may face a rematch with Mr. Biden. And in sport, the Tigers have received the final of the FIBA 2023 Women's Afro-Basket Championship. They overpowered host Rwanda 79-48 in the semi-final tie on Thursday to seal a 4th straight final appearance at the competition. Rena Wakama's girls were dominant in the 4th quarter of the game, beating the hosts 20-6. Nigeria went into the halftime break leading with 26 points. The Tigers are to play Senegal, who defeated Mali in the other semi-final. The 2023 Women's Afro-Basket Final is billed for Saturday. Meanwhile, despite starting off on a largely disappointing note, Africa teams made history at the ongoing 2023 Women's World Cup. 3 of the 4 sides that represented the continent made it to the knockouts, the first time such is happening in the competition. Nigeria, South Africa, and Morocco all reached the tournament's round of 16, while Zambia were eliminated after losing 2 of their 4 ties. And with the sport news, we've come to the end of our bulletin for today. You can follow us on our social media handles at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Unity Radio FM TV, respectively. You can also watch us live on the satellite decoder Badarsat, which has been watched in about 38 countries of the world free. You can also watch us, stream us live on our YouTube channel at Unity FM TV. I am Rukayat Sani Ibrahim. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of our programs. To have yourself a lovely day.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was saying things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.